But yeah, so just to talk a little bit about Boogie Woogie, it's definitely Conlon Nancarrow inspired. I listen to a lot of Conlon's piano player music, and especially when I'm doing those octaves, like this kind of stuff is right out of Conlon.
Out of his.
Yeah, it's cacophonous, dissonant, and definitely inspired by kind of wanting to imitate, but never being able to really, Conlon's player piano music.
David and Yoko would like to see you do that, I'm sure.
Well, I definitely can attribute it to Conlon, and so it wouldn't, I know my piano playing would not have taken that direction or had that bias to it if it hadn't been for listening to his music. But of course, he really, Conlon was not impressed with Boogie Woogie as it was being played in the 1940s in New York, and really his early Boogie Woogie suite was in part his answer to that. And but it's a music as a genre. The sky's the limit. I mean, it can be made rhythmically and harmonically as complex as you can imagine. But one thing that defines Boogie Woogie is, of course, you got the ostinato or repetitive bass hand. So it might be like, or it might be. What also makes it Boogie Woogie is not just that, because it has to have that, but it has to have a polyrhythmic interplay where you're getting new rhythms that aren't present in either the left hand or the right hand alone, but result from the interplay between the hands. So if I'm going like, that's not a very complex rhythm. If I'm doing the same thing, that's not complex. But if I play it where they're all off the same time frame, I can get a swing rhythm, even though the swing comes from the interaction between the right and left hand, but it's not inherent in either one. So if I go, I'm still just doing that with the left hand. I'm just doing that with the right hand. But if I want the swing pulse, and that's the polyrhythm. And of course, you can Boogie Woogie layers on that, so you can have one tempo in one hand, another tempo in another hand, like you can hear it maybe higher, better if you up it an octave. Conlon, of course, has multiple tempos going on and things that cross and slow down and speed up in different ways, and so that's kind of, in some ways, consistent with the way he played with time. That's really what his musical innovation was. He manipulated the temporal element in a more sophisticated way than any composer has ever done before him.
True. What was the name of that one?
That's more traditional. So you basically have that shuffle bass figure, and that bass figure has been called a Big Sandy or a Tyler tap. So you could associate it or identify it with the bass figure. So that either which is the Big Sandy or the Tyler tap, which is. So essentially, it's the Texas and Pacific Railroad are branch lines that were associated with places where these bass figures were first played. So it's all improvised, but it's not improvised to the extent that I use a previously used bass figure. But what you play on top of it or what you combine with it is what makes the unique aspect to it.
Yeah. I like that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely more traditional than all that crash. My father calls the other stuff crash bang. And he doesn't go for it so much. So maybe that's why I like to play it, Dad, because I know you don't like it. Who knows?
Does he play?
He is a music aficionado. He's been a DJ, and if he had more time in his life, he probably would have picked up the banjo. But he loves old time Ralph Stanley bluegrass and Bill Monroe and things like that. Old time mountain gospel music. He used to have a DJ show where he had played a lot of this stuff, and it still has a huge record collection. So. And he likes Boogie Woogie. He just doesn't. He likes the kind of traditional Boogie Woogie as opposed to the more avant-garde.
What about Nancy? Does she play?
She does play some piano, but not. She hasn't played much recently. But no, she appreciates. She grew up in the '50s and was crazy about Elvis, and which my father never was. But just all the girls were. But there you go. So, well, let me stop that. But thanks you for letting me. I hope I don't think I damaged anything.
I
So
enjoyed it very much.
thank you.
You really
You only improved that.
Thank you.